Hello, happy Wellness Wednesday. I happen to be recording this live on a Wednesday. So happy Wellness Wednesday. I am Julie with Balance Life with Julie, regenerative health practitioner, holistic nutritionist. Today's video topic is going to be on thyroid health and toxic beauty products. And so I'm going to give some overview of what to be on the lookout for and some clean swaps that I personally make that you can also make. But before I get into all that, I wanted to share that my book, Finding Light, is out. It is available now on Amazon. And within the last 24 hours, I've actually had 3 people reach out to me and tell me how much they love this book. And I'm really excited and deeply honored that they enjoyed the book. So I want to read one of the reviews that was left on Amazon. This by Darlene. So thanks, Darlene. This book is very inspiring and has lots of great health advice that I have found to be so true on my health journey. I really enjoyed this book and I hope she writes more. Well, I do plan to write more books, but right now this one is out and I share my story in it. And I also share the tools, the modalities, the mindset shifts that have really helped me to regain my health and vitality. And there's a lot of very actionable information and advice in here that you can get started on your health journey. So let's talk about thyroid health. Often this comes up with my clients all the time is we're talking holistically, right? So of course we're talking about diet and gut health and addressing parasites and chemical and heavy metal toxicity and stress and regulating the nervous system. But what inevitably comes up with every single conversation I have with a client is really reducing the amount of toxic load that they're putting into the body, as well as eliminating what has accumulated over the course of their life. So there's the nourishment piece that we always want to address, because a nourished body is able to heal itself much more effectively. So most people, unfortunately, they don't have a functional diet. Most of the foods that they're eating lack adequate nutrients. And so at the cell level, people are nutritionally depleted. The other side of that is that the chemicals are getting into people's body through the foods they're eating, the personal care products they're using, what they're breathing in, chemicals in the water, chemicals in the atmosphere. And so all of these things are accumulating like one on top of the other over and over and over their entire life. And so what happens is that when someone has a diagnosis, no matter what the chronic health condition is, it really is a sign that the lymphatic system is completely overloaded. The lymph system cannot keep up with the amount of toxicity and trash that is within someone's body. And so things start to back up and back up and back up. And that's eventually when somebody gets a diagnosis. So in terms of thyroid health and beauty products, like unfortunately, most of the beauty products that women are using, like think of it, anything that has a major ad campaign and a supermodel behind it, those products are full of chemicals. And those chemicals have far-reaching implications in terms of endocrine health, and as well as being linked to certain cancers. And some chemicals can also be problematic for your skin and for your lungs and whatnot. And so when I am working with a client, what we want to address is I want to look at the whole body holistically and get to the root of what's happening. So on the detoxification side, it's very important to remove the toxic chemicals and the heavy metals and the things that have accumulated in someone's body over a period of their entire life, pretty much from the time that they were in utero to whatever point I'm working with them. And so we want to get that stuff out because it's impeding the body's ability to repair itself. But the other side of the equation is, as you're removing those toxic chemicals and heavy metals from the body, you don't want to put them back in. Now, of course, we don't live in a bubble, and you can't control everything, but what you do have agency and control over, you do want to control and manage. So you have agency over what you're putting into your body food wise. So the idea is to get rid of the GMO foods and start putting in foods that are regeneratively grown, ideally organic, if it's not possible to get regeneratively grown, and make sure that those foods are not GMO. There's no chemicals or pesticides. A lot of people don't know that even organic foods can be sprayed. So you want to be aware of where you're sourcing things. And so getting the chemicals out of the diet, getting the chemicals out of the personal care products, the beauty products, these are things that you want to be aware of. Otherwise, you're going to be working against yourself, because on the one hand, you're going to be trying to do better. But if you keep putting the chemicals back into your system, your body's just not going to heal the way that it's meant to. Those chemicals, what's happening at the cell level is they're actually creating dysregulation within your body, and your liver, your liver, which is the unsung hero of health, has to deal with every single chemical you're exposed to. So whether that chemical is coming through food, through personal care products, through pharmaceuticals, through what you're breathing in, through what you're putting on your skin, it doesn't matter. Your liver has to contend with it. And so and I want to remind you again, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but 60% of the conversion from T4 to T3 takes place in your liver. So if your liver is completely overrun because you just loaded up your system with chemicals and toxins, then it can definitely impair your thyroid function. So that's the other thing that you want to be aware of is, like, our body is a whole system. It works holistically, and the different systems and glands and organs and tissues, it's a big old community. And so when one part of it is really impacted in a negative way, like for example the liver, that can have a lot of downstream negative implications for the rest of your body, in terms of, like, so having poor liver function is going to affect your lymphatic system, it's going to affect your thyroid, your gut, your kidneys. And so these are things that you want to be aware of. And so some of the chemicals that you want to be on the lookout for in terms of personal care products and beauty products are parabens. So these are preservatives that actually, what parabens do in the body is they increase estrogen production. And this can definitely interfere with brain and reproductive function. So one of the things that I see big time with the women that come to see me is that all kinds of fertility issues, or just issues related to the reproductive system. So that can be cysts on ovaries, it can be endometriosis, it can be other kinds of issues related to the reproductive system. And because women use makeup, skincare, perfumes, I think this definitely plays a factor in why there's more women that are having endocrine imbalance type issues than men. So phthalates is another thing that you want to be aware of. This is found in cleansers, lotions, hair products, hairspray, nail polish. And so what phthalates do is they affect your hormones, definitely linked to endometriosis, issues with reducing fertility, and in children that are born like preterm, it can also impact the neurological development of children. And so those are some things that you want to be aware of. The other thing that phthalates are linked to is obesity and increased type 2 diabetes risk. And so, one of the things that I started to do years and years and years ago is I really started to look at what kind of beauty products I was using. I haven't used perfume now, I don't know, since 2012, 2011. It's been a long time. I don't use perfume. I've shared this before, but I don't use any deodorant because my diet, like my diet is so clean that I actually don't have body odor. The reason that people have to use deodorant and perfumes and all of these things is that their diet is so toxic that the toxins are literally oozing out of their body. And so, of course, they smell bad. And a lot of people eat a diet that is, like essentially dead food, right? And that dead food starts to decompose even further within their body. And so they don't smell so good, right? And so personally, I haven't used deodorant in a very long time, very long time. And when you think about it, and I remember when I used to use deodorant, one of the things that I realized was that you've got these the glands that you have, the lymph nodes that you have in your armpits, like you're supposed to be like, they're not supposed to be clogged up. And so when you put on antiperspirant or deodorant, you're essentially shutting off this function in this part of your body. And that's not good, because your body needs to be able to expel out, toxins. And so you need to be able to sweat certain things out of your body through your skin. Now, so we have just a little backup here. We have several elimination organs. We've got our liver that's processing all of the chemicals that we're exposed to, all of them, no matter where they're coming from. So your liver is a workhorse of an organ. It works so, so hard for you. But then you've got your lungs. So you're exhaling toxins out as well. You're exhaling what your body doesn't need. You've got your lungs, you've got your skin, your kidneys, and your colon. And so oftentimes what happens is that when the lymph system starts to back up, and especially if the colon isn't functioning properly, things will start to come out through the skin. So sometimes when people have eczema, rashes, psoriasis, rosacea, any of these chronic skin conditions, they're actually an indication of much deeper issues in terms of what's happening with the gut, what's happening with the lymph system, what's happening with the kidneys, and how things are not eliminating the way that they're supposed to. And so our body is very, very intelligent, and it's going to try and get the stuff out however it can. If it can't get it out through the colon, it's going to start using the skin. And so this is why I always say to people, and women in particular, since I work with so many women, is that if you have skin issues, we need to actually change the diet. Have like living foods come into the diet, living food, living enzymes, more hydration. That's one part of it. And then we also need to take out the trash. We need to get rid of the heavy metals, the chemicals, the parasites. We need to clean up the internal terrain of the body, and then the skin will clear up. You won't, I personally don't do facials. Once in a blue moon, I do a mask. So I don't do like micro needling. I don't do facials. I don't do injections. I don't do fillers. I don't do any of that stuff. I just focus on having an optimal diet, making sure that my body is nourished and hydrated at the cell level. And then what I put on topically is very, very minimal in terms of beauty products. So I'm going to share with you what I personally use and have been using for, I'd say probably the last 2-3 years. And this works very well for me. And if you go under on my recommended products page and look for like the added links, you'll see the links to these particular brands. So on the cleansing side, I'm like super simple. I use this, there is no rhyme or reason. It just depends on my mood. So there is a foaming cleanser that I use from Asia sometimes. And then there's also a charcoal cleanser that I use from Love and Rose. If I'm wearing makeup, I tend to use the charcoal cleanser. And you guys, this smells so good. Like, I love the smell of this charcoal cleanser. Both are very, very effective. And so it's really simple. I use this. And then I have the Asia gel. So I always like shake it to activate it. And then I put this all over my face. what this gel has in it is it has redox signaling molecules. So redox molecules are a byproduct of when your mitochondria makes ATP. And so as we get older, our body makes less and less and less. But what redox molecules do is they help the communication between your cells. And everything in our body is made up of cells. So I use this topically on my face because it helps like clean up the communication between all my skin cells. I also, the other way that I use this gel is if I get a cut or a scrape, I'll put it on the area. It helps whatever the cut and scrape is, it'll help it heal very, very quickly. They also have a gel called Redox Gold that I'll use if I have like sore muscles or anything like that. But this thing is great. I always love having Renew 28. So basically I'll cleanse my face, I'll put on the Renew 28, and then I only put one other thing on my face, and that's this Eye Revive cream. This is a new one. It's very, very concentrated, but it's all plant-based. There's no preservatives, no chemicals, nothing toxic. And it helps to stimulate stem cell production in the body. I also know people who've like used it, like if they've had any issues with like issues with their teeth or with their gums, they'll put the gel on and it helps clear up the issue. Some people will ingest it to help with gut distress. I just love how it smells. It smells absolutely amazing. So that's my simple routine that I do in the morning and the evening. Cleanse my face, put on the Renew 28, put on this gel. That's it. And if I am wearing makeup, and I don't wear makeup every day, I usually wear makeup if I have to do a video or if I have a client call, I might put on makeup. But even like lately, the last little while, I've been using less and less makeup. But if I am using makeup, there's a brand that I work with called Axology. It is owned by this wonderful woman in California. And not only is it clean beauty, but they actually use compostable packaging. And so on there, they have like different serums. They actually came out with a mushroom foundation a few months ago. And it doesn't really have a smell to it, but it is like really, really, it's so smooth. That's what I find with it. It's like, it just goes on so smooth. And I love it. It's like you just apply it to your face and blend it in. And then they have like what they call their balmies, their lip to lid balmies. So I have like their super duper pack that has all these different colors. And you can use these on your lips. You can use them on your eyelids. You can use them on your cheeks. And that's it. Like that's my routine. Oh, and I'll put on a little bit of eyeliner and mascara. So they have the mascara and that kind of stuff on their website as well. And I think they gave me a 20% off code. So you can go check that out. It's kind of fun. Like they come in crayons, right? So you can apply. But in terms of like the amount of lipstick or whatever that they have, this is the same amount that you have in like a traditional lipstick, but it's just that they got rid of all of the plastic and instead have like paper for the color. And obviously this can compost pretty easily. Same thing with this. This is paper. And I love personally, I love working with companies that not only do they have great products, but they think about the planet and they have compostable packaging. Love and Rose has oils as well, and they use glass for most of their stuff. Not all of it, but most of it. And with ASEA, I've been chatting with them about switching their packaging. They haven't made the switch yet, but anyway, so these are the products that I personally use. There is no chemicals, there is no preservatives, there is no toxic anything in any of these products. And I love the results from using these products. But I also make sure that my diet is on point, right? So I'm not eating processed sugars. I don't eat fast food. I don't eat junk food. I'm giving my body lots and lots of fruit, lots of superfoods on a daily basis. And I'm just very mindful of my diet. And that's been very, very beneficial. But for anybody who's dealing with thyroid issues, you definitely want to not only eliminate the chemicals and the heavy metals and the toxins that have built up in your body, but it's really, really important to switch to clean beauty products and make sure that you're not putting chemicals onto your skin. Because here's the thing with anything that you apply to your skin immediately goes into your bloodstream immediately. And because your skin is an organ. And so whatever you're applying topically, it's going to go in, it's going to penetrate, it's going to get into the bloodstream, and it's going to start to create chaos. And that's why I feel that because women, we use makeup products, skincare products, beauty products, and all the conventional brands, they all are loaded with chemicals. So if you go and whatever your brands are that you're using, the major ones, the ones that have the commercials, and you look at what's in their products, it's usually a long list of things that you can't even pronounce. If you can't pronounce it, you probably should not be putting it into your body. And the issue with all of those chemicals is they're endocrine disrupting, meaning that they're going to mess up your hormonal system, or some of them are linked to cancers. And I'm sorry, there's no amount of nothing is worth messing up your health for, right? So I get it. As women, we like to look pretty. I like to look pretty as well, but there are clean, non-toxic ways to achieve those results without jeopardizing your health. And especially in my practice, I see so many women that have endometriosis, or they have fertility issues, or they have multiple autoimmune conditions. And this is all linked to not only just their diet, but all of the chemicals that they have been exposing themselves to unknowingly their entire life. And of course, we can't live in a bubble. We can't control every little thing, but what you can control, like what you eat, what you put on your skin, what kind of products you're utilizing on a day-to-day basis, what you can control, it's up to you to make those smart decisions and start making swapping things out. So I know that this kind of changing things in this way can feel very, very overwhelming. So do it gradually. So my suggestion is the next time you run out of foundation, go to the Axology website and go try their mushroom foundation. They even have an option where you can take a picture of yourself, like front and sides, without any makeup, and you can email it to them, and they'll make a recommendation in terms of which shade would fit your complexion. So yeah, next time you run out of foundation, go pick up the Axology. The next time you run out of facial cream, pick up the iRevive. This is a company called New Extracts. I work with they have a blood upgrade that I work with in my practice. And then they have this cream that is literally the best thing I've ever found. And it smells amazing. That's why anytime I open the jar, I just smell it. But it is so, so good. It's highly concentrated, so you actually don't need a lot. I use barely any. And it's actually myself and my fiance, we usually share a jar, and one jar between the two of us usually lasts us 6 to 7 weeks. I think if I was just using a jar myself, it probably would last closer to 3 months. So you don't need a lot. Little goes a long way. And yeah, so the next time you run out of cleansers, try the ASEA or try the Love and Rose cleanser. With the ASEA, they actually also have a mask. They have a clay mask that's a redox mask. I use it once in a blue moon. I really like it. I just find that overall my skin is in such great condition that I don't use a lot for it. It doesn't need a lot. So yeah, that would be my suggestion, is that as you're starting to run out of things, just swap them out one at a time and go with it that way. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today. And if you have any questions, please drop your comments or drop your questions below this video. And I love answering questions. I get so excited when I open up my YouTube and people ask questions, and I get to like answer. So ask your questions, and you can check out the links in terms of some of these products that I'm referring to. Just check out the links, and the discount codes are there as well. And aside from that, I have a membership called Elevate. It is for women who are dealing with thyroid issues, autoimmune conditions. You know, one of the things, I just got back from a Vipassana meditation, and one of the downloads that I got at meditation was that everything that I personally do in my life to improve myself, whether it's my health or my business, um, anything that I do, I'm always doing it with people. I'm always doing it in community. I'm never trying to do it all by myself. And so I created Elevate really with the intention of bringing together women who are dealing with similar health challenges. And you get to have a community of women where you can grow and evolve together. Because let's face it, I know for myself, when I was dealing with thyroid issues, it felt so isolating. Nobody in my circle understood what I was going through. And I really had to kind of like figure it out on my own. And so in the membership, you get to be in community with others who are going through the same challenges. And I cover everything from diet to getting chemicals and heavy metals out of your body, addressing parasites. We do multiple rounds of parasite cleansing, and lots of education as well, so that you understand how your body functions, because I find that most people don't even understand how their body works. It's like we just are kind of stumbling our way through it. And so there's lots of education, there's live calls, there's places that you can come to with questions. So go check out the membership. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, tag or share this with anyone that you think in your community could really benefit from this information. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being a part of my online community, and I will see you in the next live. Bye for now.